Chat. Hasn't been a ton of Spurs news. It hasn't been, okay? It's been kind of dead. Not going to lie to you. But hey, it's some fun things coming out regardless. So, one thing that came out recently, and I don't think this is much of a shocker because this was talked about months ago, but now I guess it's resurfacing. I'm very sleepy tonight. But the San Antonio Spurs and the Warriors, I didn't know about the Warriors, but the Spurs are showing interest in Trey Murphy the third. So this is from Jake Fisher, and it says sources say that the Warriors have strong affinity for Murphy and have made outreach to New Orleans as recently as this summer. Yet sources say that the Pelicans, to be clear, have batted away calls for the 25-year-old, valuing him highly. The two-way forward will be playing on a contract in 2025-26 at precisely $25 million, as desirable as his talent. Another team known to have registered trade interest in Murphy, sources say, is San Antonio. So really no shocker here, right? The Spurs are trying to get as many of these archetypes as they possibly can, these two-way players. I would absolutely love him, obviously, if he came to the Spurs. Just looking at some stats here, if you guys didn't know or you haven't kept up with them, pretty efficient from outside shooting. That's where the two-way discussions come in. So overall field goal percentage, not the hottest, right? But 3-point percentage has been very good. So 36% this year, 38% the year prior to that, 40%. Yeah, he can shoot and he's a really good defender. So I would love to have Trey Murphy, but at the end of the day, not really sure if it's going to happen. If you're trying to get him, there is no trade like Keldon and get Trey Murphy, right? Like you're going to have to give quite a bit, I would assume, right? You see, Trey Murphy is what we wish Vassell was. Kind of. Definitely, I would say probably a little bit more. He's a better player than Devin Vassell. But yeah, so if you're trying to get him, more than likely you're trading away Vassell. You're trading away, a few other pieces, maybe even a lottery, or not lottery pick, but a first round pick in the future. There's no way you get him just like a 1-to-1 trade with like Keldon Johnson or something. Like that's not going to happen. And it sounds like right now they're kind of attempting to hold on to him, but it would be really dope if we were to get Trey Murphy. So some news there. Let me see something. Said the Spurs would be such a great fit for Murphy. I'm just not sure what it would mean for Carter Bryant, though. Yeah, that was the comment I was actually looking for. The funny thing about comments like this is something that a lot of Spurs fans have been talking about, where we have so much talent and people are just like concerned with how does this player fit? How does this player fit? I'll be honest, and we talked about this probably on draft night. But the one thing that I was bringing up was I wasn't sure, because it was only two players that I was kind of worried about this upcoming season. I'm still a little worried about Keldon. You guys know how I feel on that. But the two players that I was worried about was Malachi Branham and Blake Wesley, right? Because I felt like Blake Wesley at that point, it's redundant, right? You have De'Aaron Fox, you have Dylan Harper, who's pretty quick player. All things considered, you have other like two-way. You just have so many players that can do what he does but better, right? So he's an inconsistent shooter, but you have Steph Castle, who's a much better defender than Blake Wesley, right? And then even as far as handling the ball and getting to the rim, it's like Blake Wesley's pretty good at that because he's so quick. But you have De'Aaron Fox, right? So I was like, where does he fit? And then with Malachi Branham, I was a little worried with him because at the end of the day, okay, the best thing that he is, or the best thing that he has in his arsenal is his pick and roll game. But we're not really going to use that. So we have to just have him as a spot up shooter, which he's decent at that, but that's not his primary skill set, right? So it was just kind of a weird thing going on, especially with us trying to add more of a defensive mentality, defensive presence on the court, and Malachi doesn't really have that. So those were two players I was like, yeah, I don't know. They're just not really going to play. I don't know what we do with him at this point. But now, I don't really feel that way. Just about with any, I feel like everyone kind of has a place, right? Like I don't, and even if you were to add Trey Murphy, let's say for instance you did move from Fasell and got Trey Murphy, or Fasell and Keldon, and I don't know how the numbers would add up with that. You had to do something there. But if you were to do something like that, I'm like, yeah, he still fits. But it's some people like bringing things up like, oh, we have too many guards, we have too many of this. It's like, no, it actually fits pretty well, right? I still think that my starting lineup I think this is an ideal starting lineup for a myriad of reasons, but I still want to go with Fox, Dylan Harper, Harrison Barnes, Sohan, and then Wemby. And the only reason why Dylan Harper is because obviously he's very talented, dynamic scorer. But I think that Steph Castle, if he could run the bench unit, that would be incredible. And I actually trust him more so running that bench unit than Dylan Harper, right now. So I don't know. I just really like that. But anyways, that's besides the point. All I'm trying to say is, if the Spurs were to add more talent, let's not get into the habit of saying, well, what do we do at this point? Or what if this player doesn't work out? Do we move this player? Like, let's not think about all that. Okay, this is a great situation the Spurs are in right now. Okay, we have a good problem. When you have too much talent, this is a good problem. I have, and maybe I'm just like convincing myself into this, but I am at the point now where I'm like, San Antonio Spurs 4th seed. Like I don't think, obviously it's possible, but I can't see us being worse than that, right? Like I'm thinking 4th seed. I'm stuck on it. And a lot of people will say, well, the West is so strong, which it is, but the West has also got a little weaker, right? The Spurs got significantly better, and the West as a whole got weaker. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling. I don't know. Wouldn't Harper do better running the bench? Castle is also the better defender or defensive player, and just start Fasell if you're concerned about the jumper. I don't know. What makes you think Harper would do better running the bench than Steph Castle? Like, I feel like Steph Castle would destroy bench units. By the way, mind you, with me saying starters, that doesn't mean who finishes the game. I still think Steph Castle would finish the game right now. I just think that it's a little bit more balanced. And another thing, too, a lot of people will say, like, Dylan Harper is not a good shooter, but he's actually pretty good off ball. Off ball shooting, he's really good. I would encourage you to watch. Hold on. This is going to sound very conceited of me. Follow my other channel, Spurs Invasion, which we're going to add more on there. But watch this video right here. And I kind of talk about Dylan Harper a little bit. I bring up some stats that a lot of people don't bring up. Go watch that video. Tell me what you think of it. But his numbers with, like, when the ball isn't in his hands and he's a catch and shoot player and he's a cutter, is really impressive. It's actually really impressive. So he's better than people think as far as the shooting guard position. I think a lot of people just kind of sum it up to, oh, well, his numbers aren't that great when he's shooting outside shots. It's like, well, he was on a team where Rutgers, where it was just him and Ace Bailey, and all the attention is on him taking contested jumpers. It's kind of difficult. But when he could take on the more, okay, I'm open, give me the ball type shots, he actually looked really good. So yeah. Why can't we just play Fox at the 1, Harper at the 2, and Castle at the 3? That's not even small. Well, I mean, I just like the idea of Barnes starting because he's like lights out shooter. Like he's He was ridiculous. Like, what was his numbers last year? Harrison Barnes stats. What was Harrison Barnes' numbers last year? He shot 43%. He shot 43%. I'm starting Barnes as small forward. It just makes the most sense for me. You can do that. It's not small, by the way. I do agree with you. Castle at 3, that's not small. Castle is, I mean, that's why you got him, right? He's very versatile. He can play multiple positions, but I'd rather just have Harrison Barnes at that 3, honestly. But if they start Castle, like, that's totally fine too. Especially if I think Castle's 3-point shooting probably is going to improve. These numbers are really good, by the way. Matter of fact, this is like some of the best numbers of his entire career. We don't really notice these things when you lose so many games, but this is the best percent. He had his best percentages ever under the Spurs system. Like, ever. 50%, 43. He never had better than 43%. He never had better than 49%. Dang. He used to take more shots, though. Man, Harrison Barnes in his prime was like something serious. I was actually afraid to go against him. I don't know. Barnes is starting. He and Fox got that Sacramento connection. That too. And I want those guys kind of leading the way, you know, as far as leadership in that starting lineup. I think that's just a smart thing to do. He's just a good player, very savvy. Trying to see if anything else was better, the best of his career. I think that's it. Just his shooting percentages. Yeah. Anyways, I yapped long enough.